Alright, grammar time. Let's do a review about negative sentences in present simple tense. We use the present simple tense to talk about daily routine, morning routine, states, personal information, all that stuff. But we have learned about the auxiliaries don't and doesn't. So we use don't with the pronouns I, you, we, they, or plural nouns, and we use doesn't for he, she, it, or singular noun. But we have learned too about the verb be. And the verb be has three conjugations in negative. Am not, isn't, aren't. So what's the difference here? When do we use don't and doesn't? And when do we use the negative form of the verb be? Let's talk about it. First of all, we use don't and doesn't as an auxiliary when you have a there in a sentence. But you need to write the verb be in negative form, when we talk about adjectives, prepositions, or nouns. So come on, let's see some examples here. The first one, I wake up at 6. But this is not true, so I'm gonna make this sentence a negative one. How? Yes, we use the auxiliary don't. I don't wake up at 6. I don't wake up at 6. Yeah, I don't. What happened with you? Yeah, you don't have breakfast. Or maybe we don't live in Quevedo. We live in Milagro. And they? Yeah, one more time. Don't. They don't drive. They don't know how to do that. And Liana live here. It's not true. Liana doesn't live here. He, yeah, doesn't watch TV. She, of course, doesn't study. And it, maybe a machine, doesn't work. So could you see all these sentences use another where in the structure. So they need an auxiliary in order to become a negative one. So I don't, you don't, Elena doesn't, he doesn't, she doesn't. This is the help they need to become a negative sentence. But come on, let's see the other side. I happy or sad, terrible, exhausted. You remember? So happy or sad, well, they are not verbs, they are not activities or actions, they are adjectives. Yeah, so I can say here, I don't happy, I don't sad. This is not right. You need to write a verb, and the verb, it's the verb be. So you use a negative form here. If you are not happy or sad, you say, I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm happy. So you decide. But this is the verb be. What about he? Yeah, he isn't in Duran. Look at it. In is a preposition. It's not a verb or an activity. So we use the verb be here, the negative form. So he isn't in Duran. He is in Guayaquil. She, tall, short are adjectives. So you can say she doesn't tall, she doesn't short. Don't do that. You say she isn't. She isn't tall, she's short. Or maybe she isn't short, she is tall. Well, and finally it. You remember it? Yeah, it isn't okay. It isn't okay. It's terrible. It isn't okay. It isn't cool. Isn't. What happened with you, we, they, or a plural noun? Well, you remember, we use the negative form aren't. You aren't fantastic. You're terrible. You aren't fantastic. Fantastic. This is an adjective. So you can say you don't fantastic. Don't do that. Fantastic is not a verb, it's not an action. It's an adjective. So you need to write a verb, in this case in a negative form. So you say you aren't fantastic. No. We we aren't students. We are friends. Or they aren't intelligent. They're not. Yeah. And finally, my brothers, of course, my brothers aren't ridiculous. They're smart. So yeah, that's it. One more time. We need used. We need to use the auxiliaries don't or doesn't when we have a verb in the structure. I don't wake up. You don't have breakfast. We don't live in Quito. She doesn't study. All of these are actions, activities. But when we don't use where, or we don't have a where in the structure, we need to write a where. So we use the verb be, in this case in a negative form. I am not happy. He isn't Andron. You are fantastic. They are not ridiculous. Oh, they aren't ridiculous. So that's it. Come on, let's take notes.